What is up, everybody? Back with more tutorials. Back in Finland. Took a little bit of a 2-month vacation. Wasn't able to pump out enough videos to like kind of have one every week, unfortunately, because I had to move and stuff, as we can see. So today we're just going to quickly talk about serum skins, because it's really easy and it's really fun. Like, I think it's fun to do, and it's got pretty cool like results. So this is I'm working on a skin here. It's gonna be Bitwig themed, so I need to change like the gray back here to maybe the more like brownish gray that's going on here, like the more orange and brown sort of tones. I've already got like the envelope set up. I still need to mess around with this and get that to be yellow. Changing here, I got the wavetable set up more or less. So in certain wavetables, you see there's this green color here. I still have to sort of establish what that is. It's hard to read the description of it because it's like kind of like technical. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second, but you can change the colors of these buttons, the wavetables and stuff, which is mostly done here. And this has been changed. This one's kind of a bit weird. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know how that one works per se. And you can change the colors of like everything here basically too. In here, this is orange. When I move it instead, I can change the color of this text, all sorts of stuff. If you look at his skin here, invented by not invented, but like my friend made, this is what it looks like. So you can see here he's got like the red gradient figured out in the wavetable. And the wavetable's red. We have some like cyan sort of contrasting stuff here, as well as these have been turned to cyan. The buttons are red, you know, so like kind of a skin like this. Even up here is red. Move this, it's red. All the buttons in global are red. So I'm gonna do something like this, but for Bitwig. However, so if you want to actually do this, you need to go to Steve Duda's Twitter. And he has like posted something that is like the link to a color map and like basically wherever the serum skin's located. So if we come here, click on red, serum presets, we have skins. So the default skin here, you need the newest serum to do this. So even if you have the newest serum, you're just gonna have this. So the default serum pack doesn't actually come with a color map, which is really weird. So it doesn't come with a color map. So I was kind of encountering this problem. So what you can do is you can still come in here and you look through all these PNGs. So all of these or whatever, like they're just little icons. You have to zoom in on them a lot. You need something like Photoshop to work with them. As I would say, like, what's a good example? Say this, for example, you can change the color of like the waveforms in like the sub oscillators here, like this. So what you'd have to do is, I think how this was actually done is you have to come in to that folder I was just showing you, and you'd have to say open this with Photoshop, right? And then we zoom in on it or whatever. This is what it looks like. So we can put Command U in as long as we're on this layer, and then we can basically colorize this. Okay. So like with here, for example, up here, this is red. So I think you can do something to make this change a lot easier in the color map, right? Which is what you need to get to do the waveforms. But for, I think about everything else, you don't actually use a color map, and you have to kind of use those PNG files, I believe. That's how I've been doing it. So like, so for example, on this, I would come in, get like the little select tool here, the lasso, do it on one, just on one, and then come here. See, it's selected the F. Now I have to get the X, but there's certain things in the X you want, like that gray, that gray, that gray, that one, and the one on the top. And then you get that. Scroll up a bit here. We want to get this circle. Got the circle. Now we do that like, we do like select and mask up here in the top. And then we want to do output settings as new layer. New layer. Okay. And now we're left with this. So if we turn back on the remaining layer, if we were to turn this layer off, it's still there because all we did was copy it. We can move it and like that. So it should be the exact same one. So the idea is you'd take this, change the color, and make it red like this. Make it a bit darker maybe. Okay. Zoom out. Now that's red. You can see there's some whites in there. So if you wanted to get rid of the whites, you have to pull out like, I don't know, a pencil tool and then just kind of make sure you have like a deep color, and then go after some of those whites. Got to be careful though, because if you do it like that, you might end up ruining and making it look blurry. So I basically did this and got all of them set up with whatever color, and that was really hard. But I think there's a better way to do that, but that's how I was doing that. So that gets hard when you have to do it like this. It gets really time consuming. So if we don't do that, we have what's called a color map. Okay, so this is all the colors in Serum, and it basically decides, like, it uses these colors to do certain things. So I've switched a few things, like where there's basically a bright orange or yellow with the exclusion of this one. There is like no yellow in Serum. So I've added these orange and yellows to make my serum look like this here. And that's how I've been doing that basically. So there's a PDF file that comes with this, and it supposedly explains everything that every color does. However, it gets kind of confusing. Like, for example, when I changed this yellow, so I found the line, it's up here in B something, and it's like this right here, B2 LFO line. Then it says LFO note velocity, note, matrix, mini curves, envelopes, main line color. So that'd be all these lines here, but then there's a gradient in between. So when it loads this gradient, I had to go find that, and that was on B9 and B12. So I was having trouble like understanding the description. Is it B9? Yeah. Wait, no. That was B9 and B12 or B13. Okay, maybe not. Okay, so there's a foreground, B12 and B13. It's the blue gradient used in LFO, note, velocity, envelope A and B. It's two gradients, and they look like this. Now, these colors don't look like the gradient that would have been in there originally, which would be this like blue color. However, it is actually what was in there originally. It just doesn't look like it. And then when you look on the color map, some of the issues with looking on the color map is you can see like half the colors look like they're missing, but they're just really low opacity colors. So it's hard to differentiate the colors. So the way this works is vertically down, it's A, B, C, D, like reading a book. Top column being A, last one being whatever is at the end. And then across, it goes from like 1 to 14, I think. 16. And so it goes like A, like A9 or something is like going to be over here, kind of like where my little circle thing is, like this black or blue. And then B9 would be like below it somewhere there. So like that's how the color map works. So you can basically just flat out color things in there, and it will just change how everything works in here, nice and simple. So I made some stuff bright orange or whatever, and I got the I got this up here because the wavetable line has one, and that's down here as D9, or it was a D6. Here at D6, the waveform, wavetable green line color, also used in 3D view. See G7 for third secondary color. I'm not sure what that means, but this is the waveform line. This is the green that was used, so I switched that out, went and found it in the color map. Came here, switched it out, turned it orange. However, it does not change the fill to orange. Now, I already forget what the fill for orange was. I think it's right beside it here, possibly. I'm not sure what so how I've been kind of doing this is going like trial and error and just kind of like filling in a few things at once as like bright orange. And then I come up and I just quickly go like export, save, and I overwrite it. And then I come here, delete serum, open serum again. And I'll be like, oh, that thing changed when I did that. Like, let's do an example. So I'll come here, I'll get my pencil tool, 100% opacity. You have to make sure your layer is selected or you can't edit it. And you want to be on 1 pixel so you can just like move one thing at a time. Undo that. And then let's do like that bright orange I was using. And let's just fill in the whole line that's commonly used with the wavetable like that. And let's just like see what happens. So I go file, save, replace. Come in here, delete, serum. Here we go. This is what happens. And you can see the green is still there. So I don't know where that green color is, but this is what happened essentially when we did that. So obviously you don't really want your waves to look like this. So then now you can go through trial error and figure out where it was that the gradient was, like in between the line. And then if you come back in here, you can do Command Alt Z and it fixes everything. So I think the gradient line is somewhere on D9 and something. I think that's what I was getting confused was. D9. Yes. Here we are. D9 and D12. This is what dictates the color between the lines in here. That's what does that. And I don't know if I updated it yet, probably not. So likewise, if I look for like the filter line, which I think is the same as the waveform line. Oh wait, no, maybe it's the filter plot. See, still not sure. So it's confusing, but like if you work with it long enough and even make like your own little PDF file and be like, this one does this does that. So then you have a PDF color and you're like, you don't have to even use a color at that point. You can just be like, slot D6 is like the outline for the waveform. And then like D9 and D12 are the gradient pairs that dictate the fill color, because that makes more sense to a lot of people than like 3D wavetable waveforms gradient B, you know, because like that could be like, how do I not know it's this part here? That's what it makes it sound like, not that it's like this part on the inside. So like it's weird, but that's how you do it. And hopefully sometime soon I'll have a Bitwig skin, change all the buttons here to like the bright orange, some orange wavetables, and some yellow envelopes, similar to how it is in here. Try to throw in some light blue somewhere, maybe on these parts of the modulation. So instead of that, I'll make it like a bright, like thick cyan blue. So it's like cartoony, kind of like Bitwig. And I have to darken this background and stuff using some skin layers, like I had said, when you go into your folders here and physically edit these things, like with a PNG, that's sometimes how you have to do certain things. It's much easier to do it like something like this. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.